It is the month of April, and the weather condition being experienced in some parts of the country is one that is not pleasant, especially with the heat. Well, it was anticipated, as NIMET forecast, that weather conditions in April will be hot across the country, with temperatures potentially reaching as high as 42 degrees Celsius in the northern regions. Temperatures are expected to be generally above the long-term average across the country. Now, the agency indicated that these high temperatures will cause significant thermal discomfort across many states, adding that central and northern states will face a higher risk of heat exhaustion and heat stroke, while southern states will also experience heat stress. On the other hand, concerns are high, especially for heat-related illnesses. The seasonal climate prediction usually offers insights into expected weather and climate patterns, expected to equip key sectors with the foresight needed to plan, mitigate risk, and harness opportunities. But how much impact will the weather prediction have on critical sectors like agriculture, marine operations, transport, aviation, and even on the populace? How are people in the northern region coping with the heat exhaustion? Tonight on Weekend File, we will be discussing the impact of NIMET weather prediction, and our guest is Mr. Ibrahim Wasiu. He's the Deputy General Manager, Public Weather Services, NIMET. We'll bring you situation reports from across the country. Thank you for joining us. This is Weekend File. I'm Ruth Aguela. First, let's start with the news. Federal government will establish more gemstones and jewelry making centers across the country to boost entrepreneurship in the mining industry and support the local value addition policy. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alaki, gave the assurance during a tour of the Laurel School of Mining in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
Busy, productive fingers, transforming gemstones to jewelries. And this fits into Minister Dele Alaki's policy thrust of local value addition. Laurel School of Mining, Abuja, a center supported by the Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals Development in giving skills to young Nigerians.
They are now being finished right here, which is a value addition, because that's a significant contribution to the economy. Wow. And then people will get engaged. You know, a lot of illegal operators would also move into this sector. A lot of our youth that are roaming the streets, this is an opportunity for them to come and learn something, you know, handiwork. And this is more than handiwork. This is actually industrialization. With this center now, it's encouraging to begin to attract jewelry-making fefactories and gemstone factories, and we are going to do that.
3 months, 12 weeks, and a few days to their graduation, now they are going to Kano, to funded by the government, to physically see people that have been doing this for over 30 years, 45 years. They didn't have this kind of opportunity because before they got to this place, they were giving starter packs. So it's not just, okay, we train them, we throw them into the market. They were giving starter packs. What they are using here, they were giving to them so that they need to buy their bench and start production.
Skills for jobs is the federal government's target in promoting self-reliance and curbing youth restiveness. And here is an idea for the National Assembly.
Members of the National Assembly to train members of the constituency. It doesn't cost so much to get them trained, but for the ones training, the federal government has shouldered the responsibility. We need more hands to join us so that we can advance in this cause.
We came here earlier last year knowing nothing about jewelry making, but now we are here in the advanced class and we've learned techniques, we've learned so many things that money can't buy.
A beautiful set of cufflinks for Dele Alaki, not imported but produced here, and more of such centers across the country, less unemployment. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
And if, well, her nest can boost the nation's economy, but in order to boost the African economy, there is the need for African governments to formulate deliberate policies that will enhance bilateral relations and encourage local investors as well as entrepreneurs across the African region. These were the opinions of the new Foreign Minister of Ghana, Samuel Ablaka, during his familiarization visit to the management of River Park Estate at Lugbe in Abuja. Francis Udojo reports.
The Ghanaian Foreign Affairs Minister's visit was his first to Nigeria, with plans to familiarize with Ghanaian associates. The minister seized the opportunity to visit River Park Estate, developed by a key Ghanaian stakeholder, Sam Jonah Capital Nigeria Limited. Acknowledging the contributions of real estate investment to Nigeria's economy, the minister Samuel Ablakwa urged African nations to break artificial barriers amongst themselves, leverage the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement to boost Africa's business and economy.
We should change that perception that investors are always from Europe or America. We can have African investors once we create, the congenial atmosphere for them. And that's why in Ghana, the new government has overhauled the public procurement law so that we are no longer going to be allowing, the same kind of competition with foreigners, particularly those from outside the continent.
The managing director and CEO of Jonah Capital Nigeria Limited, Kojo Mensah, and other partners said the investment, which came into existence in 2007 through an invitation by the then administration, has grown tremendously, with over 75% of Nigerians and 25% Ghanaians employed, and as well have contributed over $250 million to the GDP of Nigeria.
This is the vision of a Ghanaian investor, which is fueled by Nigerian industry and innovation. So this marriage strengthens and demonstrates the bond between Ghana and Nigeria.
Going by the spirit of intra-African collaboration initiated through River Park Estate, stakeholders believe it is a blueprint for other African countries to open doors for collaborative investment. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
212 brilliant minds we hear have started their journey to academic excellence at Cosmopolitan University of Nigeria. Ayo Deji Makinde reports that this technology-driven center of learning is enriching learning experience for all.
Cosmopolitan University Abuja, approved in 2023, hosted its matriculation with these students marching into a world where digital technology is connected to every field of study. As they settle into the first day of learning, management of this institution acknowledges the resolution it is bringing to the tertiary academic landscape in Nigeria. This includes embracing cutting-edge artificial intelligence tools in teaching, research, and practice.
This is a very nice university, and we have collaboration. By the grace of God, the government, I can see that I come here to encourage them and to make sure that things go well with them.
And the individual can change their lifestyle through the knowledge gain, because knowledge is power, right? So the university will not change, but you as an individual that goes through Cosmopolitan will change.
Structured into three main faculties of management and social sciences, applied health sciences, and computing and engineering, Cosmopolitan University will commence its faculty of law and 5 newer courses of study by September 2025.
I see it as a good course to study. I feel like it will take me far in life. I feel I can learn a lot from it here.
Cosmopolitan University is a really, really great space. You get to acquire skills, and then you have good interaction with your lecturers, and you understand more.
It's a seamless academic process. Wherever I come and I'm able to go through the process of the institution and having a university life.
I expect success. I expect flying colors, success and hope.
As Cosmopolitan University takes these students through, the institution continues to expand its international collaboration with foreign universities to boost exchange programs and academic excellence.
The business and economic sector in Abuja is receiving the desired attention of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike with the inauguration of 2 solar-powered markets in Utako and Kugbo, all expected to boost revenue generation and investment prospect of the FCT. Let's hear details from Abdullahi Ajia.
From the Utako Farmers Market in the heart of Abuja to Kugbo International Market, where 2 modern economic hubs have been built, the feeling is the same among a chain of partners who committed resources to realize a modern, sustainable, eco-friendly markets. FCT Minister's representative, Minister of State FCT, Dr. Maria Mahmoud says the vision and quality of work is timely for development agenda of President Tinubu.
This initiative reflects our shared vision for a sustainable, inclusive, and resilient economy.
This is very beautiful.
Today, we saw the gifts that the minister did give to young people who are willing to do business and to trade in the market. So it's very exciting for me.
The inauguration of the 2 markets in succession signals the commencement of business activities intended to make Abuja not only the capital city, but an economically viable city. In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
It was a show of unity, patriotism and commitment to peace as the Nigerian Police Force marked the National Police Day with a symbolic peace walk in Abuja. Francis Pham reports.
The Peace Walk, which began at the Louis Edet House, the force headquarters, proceeded to the Unity Fountain and returned to the force headquarters, drawing participation from all ranks of the force. Leading the walk is the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of training and human development, Frank Mba, accompanied by the wife of the Inspector General of Police, senior officers including AIGs, Commissioners of Police, and men and women of the force.
We must support the Nigerian Police Force. We must work with them. We must create that enabling environment for the Nigerian Police Force to excel.
The message I have for Nigerians is that we should be security conscious. Police is your friend. You have to give information to the police to be able to exercise their duties.
The event underscores the force's renewed commitment to fostering peaceful coexistence and building stronger ties with the public, one step at a time. Francis from NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu promises that the gunmen who killed many people in communities in Plateau State will be apprehended to face severe punishment under the law. In a statement through his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the president extends his condolences to the families of the victims in Ruwi, Hurti and Tade communities in Boko's local government and those from Manguna and Dafo villages where the gunmen launched brutal attacks resulting in the loss of lives and the destruction of property. Assuring the government of Plateau State of the federal government's support in ending insecurity on the plateau, he urges affected communities to volunteer information to catch the perpetrators and secure their communities. The president also directs the National Emergency Management Agency to work with state authorities to provide the necessary support to the victims and bring immediate relief to the affected communities. Right, let's take a break. When we come back, our focus will be on the impact of NIMET weather prediction. Please stay tuned. Glad to know you're there. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, with its keen eye on the skies, foretells that the month of April shall usher in sweltering conditions across the country. In the northern region, temperatures may soar to a downton 42 degrees Celsius, stirring the very air with heat. Let's join Musa Baba Aliyu for details.
It's a few minutes past 10 a.m. in Minna, Niger State, in north-central Nigeria. The sun is already shining, creating humidity in the atmosphere. while the wind is blowing at less than 2 kilometers per hour.
People cannot even walk at the sun now. So many people at home trying to find a place to shade themselves. And so we don't walk even under the sun. Most of the things we sell, they're under sun and they're getting burned.
Every minute, every second, I will call pure water. No, last year is better, but this year, no, the sun is much this year.
Similar weather conditions can be observed in Gwagwalada area of Abuja. As of 12 p.m. on Saturday, the temperature rose above 35 degrees Celsius, with humidity reaching as high as 64%.
And paramount to this season, last year by this time, I think there was rain. But this season, we are finding it very difficult. Maybe as a result of a climatic change or stuff like that.
Reports from across the country confirm that hot weather conditions are aligning with earlier predictions by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET. The agency forecasts a higher risk of heat exhaustion and heart stroke in central and north central states, while southern states are also expected to experience heat stress. NIMET further indicates that coastal areas will experience above average temperatures, while central and northern regions will see slightly elevated temperatures.
Temperatures are expected to be generally above the long-term average across the country. Both daytime and nighttime temperatures are predicted to be warmer than the long-term average over most parts of the country in January, February, March, and May 2025.
The Weather Monitoring Agency warns of increased risk of malaria in southern states and parts of Kwara, Kogi, and Benue due to elevated mosquito activity. Additionally, there is a meningitis alert for extreme north. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And looking at Oka, Benson Osadebe reports that in Anambra State, with perennial flooding due to the heavy rainfall, citizens' awareness on ensuring clean environment and clearing of waterways is high. Let's see that.
Such as high temperature, relative humidity, and rainfall, according to medical experts, can influence the outbreak and transmission of some diseases. Meningitis, heat stroke, and heat exhaustion are common heat-related illnesses anticipated in some central and northern parts of the country. Sequel to this prediction, how can citizens prevent these diseases?
An individual loses about 1.56 liters of fluid without much heat. So you may estimate heat, you can have what is called heat stroke. So people should be taking up to 3 liters of and also avoiding heat the more they can. And otherwise people will be dropping.
Anambra State, with about 10 local government areas sitting on the coastal line where the prediction points at increased risk of malaria. Hence, this enlightenment.
Sleeping under insecticide-treated nets, making sure there are no bushes or anywhere water collects, because these are breeding spots for mosquito. Clearing your drainages, make sure you don't have clearing bushes around you.
They harped on the need for people not to engage in self-medication as it will be counterproductive.
There are other things, other problems that had it been you saw a medical practitioner, he is going to tie together the history he collected from you together with his examination and know the proper investigation to send you.
Thermal discomfort and increased risk of malaria are significant health concerns in Nigeria. In Oka, Benson, Osadebe, NTA News.
Well, following recent predictions by NIMET that some northern states will experience extreme heat this April, environmentalist from the Federal University Lokoja has cautioned against excessive heat exposure due to its potential health risk. Jonathan Omajali reports.
Kogi State frequently experiences extreme weather conditions. During the rainy season, heavy rainfall often leads to flooding, while outside the rainy season, it is a case of intense heat. Residents of Lokoja in particular have been enduring the severe effects of this extreme heat.
The weather is sometimes calm when it comes to being cold, but when it comes to the hot season, it's nothing to write home about.
Predictions are about early warning, and when we are warned, all we need to do is to prepare for them. Fortunately, we have not planted, so for the farmers, they are not at much risk with their crops.
This projection is not just a concern, but a call for action. In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
All right, let's bring in our guest. We have in the studio Mr. Ibrahim Wasiu. He's the Deputy General Manager, Public Weather Services from NIMET. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Wasiu.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, going by the prediction, that's the climate seasonal weather prediction by NIMET, and we're seeing the impact already. But from your assessment, I want to believe that NIMET carries out assessment. How would you say that this predictions has been fully utilized by key players, especially even the populace?
Yeah, thank you. You remember that the core mandate of the agency is to observe, collate and analyze meteorological data for timely and accurate reporting of weather, water and climate information for socioeconomic development, safety and life of property. It is in line with this that the agency, produce different forecasts, that are very, very rich and useful for the general public. And of course, towards the end of the year, we usually assess our forecast to be able to ascertain for that previous year what has been the performance of our forecast. Daily too, we equally also evaluate and get feedback, because we have stations across the country. We get weather report from them. We know what is going on weather-wise. We try to also evaluate our models to also see how they are performing. So we are getting feedbacks, and we are using this to evaluate our forecast. And it has been above 80, 85 in most cases, and generally is even beyond that.
So what's the kind of feedback you're getting, especially based on your monitoring and evaluation?
Yeah, don't forget that when we give forecast, it's also important for us to be able to know that whether that forecast we have issued out actually play out the way we have expected it. So we try and reach out to almost all stakeholders that are directly working with us. We find out from the public as well. All our met stations also give us weather report, which we use to evaluate what we have already issued out, to be able to also, ascertain whether the forecast we gave yesterday against today is actually right. So we do evaluate. We do also monitor from our own hand, and we use all this to also evaluate our model, how they are performing, and it has been wonderful.
So tell us about the synergy, you're getting with all the stakeholders in the aspect of collaboration, because when this prediction is put out there, it's to help key agencies, plan properly to mitigate risk and disaster and all of that. What's the synergy like?
Yeah, the synergy has been very awesome. You remember at the beginning of every year, we usually do public presentation of the seasonal climate prediction, where all the stakeholders are usually invited to come and witness the public presentation of SCP. And all stakeholders, the farmers, water resources, all sector, aviation, marine and blue economy, name it, are usually invited. In fact, before the final presentation, we usually have what is called a stakeholders engagement, where we co-produce what is called socioeconomic implication of this forecast. So when we are doing the public presentation, they will also be invited. They will witness this. They are part of it. Farmers, agriculturists, name them, from different sectors of the economy to also be part of this. And that has been very, we've been having good, collaboration with them. With other MDAs too, like NEMA, sister agencies in the aviation industry, NISA and the rest of them, because I really can't list them now, quite long list. We do have, even with some NGOs, we partner with them in downscaling this seasonal climate prediction. We partner with states too to make sure that this gets to the grassroots. So we partner a lot with state government, with MDAs, federal agencies, and some other institutions to make sure that the forecast get to the grassroots. So we have a strong, collaboration and partner with so many institutions, including the universities too.
Yeah, and especially the grassroots is very important. But let's take a break, Mr. Wasiu. Thank you for staying with us. Well, as temperature soars across northern region of the country, Borno State residents are bracing up for a scorching heat stroke. Following the latest update from NIMET, let's hear from Umar Jambaima.
The agencies alert on the high risk of meningitis in the north. Health experts are advising the public to take precautionary measures against the threats of heat stroke and meningitis.
There will be experience of heat-related illnesses with more severe symptoms of heat stroke. To begin with, there will be altered level of consciousness, or there will be confusion. The person will become lethargic. There will be increase in the core body temperature.
Borno State is quite famous for its scorching weather, especially in March and April. I see to it that I stay hydrated by drinking plenty of water.
Borno is prone to much amount of heat wave, especially in this season. So my preparedness here is to reduce our exposure to extreme sunlight.
We should plant more trees to ensure that the carbon, excess carbon is absorbed by these trees.
With the combined efforts of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency and health professionals, Borno residents remain hopeful that the storm will be insured. In Maiduguri, Umar Jimbarima, NTA News.
Well, over the years, Nigeria has experienced the negative impact of climate change, from the increase in temperature to the massive flooding from 2012 to 2022. We've seen that. Now, this climate change is threatening to worsen health problems in the country. Let's get details from our correspondent Chinyere Okoli.
Flood is one of the major impacts of climate change in Nigeria. In the past month, Nigeria experienced its most damaging flood incident, which affected 31 out of 36 states, of which 21 states were severely impacted. The recent weather forecast released by NIMET indicates that coastal states such as Delta, Imo, Bayelsa, among others, will be majorly impacted by this year's flood and hot temperature, which will also give rise to heat waves. The rainfall will also breed mosquitoes, and all these will pose great risk to people's health. An environmental and medical expert explains the best defense and guidelines to combating these impending dangers.
The prediction is apt. It calls for citizens to take proactive actions or preventive actions against these incidences that are going to occur, like high level of heat stress down in the southern part of Nigeria, which we are part of, and also incidences of malaria. Definitely, the incidences of malaria will occur due to the increase in rainfall as was predicted. And when you have increased rainfall, flooding occurs.
I suggest that we keep our homes well hydrated. We should sleep under netted windows. And then, of course, with the heat comes excessive sweating and all that. We try as much as possible to take adequate water to keep ourselves well hydrated. When we do that, mosquitoes will not have where to thrive.
NIMET warning serves as a timely reminder of the constant vigilance needed to combat these preventable illnesses. In Asaba, I'm Chinyere Okoli, NTA News.
All right, Mr. Wasiu, you've seen from the reports being played, Mr. Wasiu, most of the concerns is, because of the heat waves from both regions and, in the aspect of health-related illnesses, heat-related illnesses rather. I'm throwing you back again to the assessment aspect. Do you make recommendations, because you said you work in synergy with critical stakeholders, do you make recommendations based on your assessment?
Yeah, thank you. We do. Okay. If you look at the seasonal climate prediction, like I said earlier, inside that document, you have socioeconomic implications as it affects different sectors of our economy. You have the advisory with it that also, for different sectors of the economy. And like I said earlier, there's no any forecast that we give out because our forecasts are impact-based. What it means is we add value to it by adding advisory, by, giving advice to the public on what they should do. It's not just what the weather will be, but what we also the public do so that they can, be able to, adapt with this weather. Each of our forecasts go with all this advisory. You have recommendation, For health sector in particular, most of the public, we usually advise them, especially for heat stroke, like you mentioned, wear light material, drink a lot of water, get dehydrated, stay in a ventilated area, stay less outdoor, particularly within the peak hours between 12 noon and 3 p.m. Try to reduce your, activity within this period. So many advisory, if possible, use hat or stay in a shared place where, the direct heat will not really, affect you. And,
what about aviation and marine operations? What kind of recommendations do you give to those sectors?
For aviation, don't forget that aviation, we work in aviation, and our forecast has been very, very useful. Without that forecast, no flight, operation can be carried out. And what we do is to give them a 30-hour away for forecast. There's also what is called SIGMET, TAF, META, SPECI, and the rest of them in different format for the pilot and airport users to be able, to know what is ahead of them. And for safety of airline operations, we do give out forecast. We advise the pilot visit a briefing room for him to know what is ahead of him, whether he should delay or probably cancel the flight. We always brief the pilot, the flight crew, and the airport users generally. They have this forecast and they are making good use of it.
Is it the same application for marine operations?
For marine, yes, the same. It is important that you know what the weather is over the ocean for the moving vessels before you embark on any journey. Otherwise, the weather can be so disastrous during your trip, and you know what that means. Nobody is interested in any hazard or any havoc or any accident. So it is also good to have the forecast ahead of you, which we are doing in Marine and Blue Economy. We are giving out the forecast to going to vessels who are applying through the oceans, the airport users, like I said earlier, the transport industry, the farmers, almost all sectors of the economy are, enjoying our weather, and they are making good use of it for them to have, to take an informed decision and also an appropriate action.
You said they're enjoying the weather, but some Nigerians are not enjoying what April has brought forth. I'm talking about the heat stroke and all of that. They say prevention is better than cure, right? What kind of sensitization have you carried out? Earlier, you were talking about the whole taking down the message to the grassroots. How are you carrying out this sensitization? Let's hear it.
When I say they enjoy the weather, let me go back to that. They do, because if you don't have the information earlier, if you caught unaware, it's going to be more, more than you expect. Yeah. But when you have the information, you prepare ahead. Then for the sensitization part of it, we do a lot of sensitization. First and foremost, we make sure that our, prediction, SCP, for instance, now, is being produced in 5 different languages. The 3 major languages, Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, then Pidgin, which is a common language in Nigeria, then we have the English, which is our national language. In these 5 different languages, it's been, produced and, sent to nooks and crannies of the country. It's a process for everybody to have it. It's just to ensure that it gets down to the general public. And at the beginning of every month, we also do what is called Weather Monthly Outlook. In Flyer, if you check all our social media handles, you will see this. Go to our website, you will see it. This is just to ensure that the forecast, the prediction, the outlook get to everybody. We have a YouTube channel that you can also visit and see all these predictions there. So we try as much as possible to make sure that any forecast at all gets to the nooks and crannies of this country so that the users, the general public, have access to it. And like we are doing now, it's also part of the sensitization, partnership with media houses, both TV and print media, to make sure that the forecast get to the end users. We are doing this.
Well, it's good you're leveraging every means, and especially technology. But I want to know, especially for those who don't know also, is NIMET, does NIMET has an app, like on the go, people just know what the weather will say for today? If no, it's NIMET rather considering putting that on board.
We do have NIMET weather app, which you can download on iOS or on the Android, for Android and iOS. We do have NIMET weather app. You can download it. The good thing about it is multisectoral in nature. You can have so many information on it for aviation, for farming, marine, multisectoral in nature, like I said. So many information, in that app that you can make use of. It's not just for aviation. It's not just for farmers. For marine and blue economy, earth-related, like we say, climate health, and so many information that you can get. Airport users, you can have access to know what the weather will be, so that if your flight will be able to, go to the destination or not. Rich information and is on iOS that you can download.
Okay, Mr. Wasiu, information is power. I asked that question because you'll be surprised that a lot of people don't know that NIMET has that. How do you intend to push that further so that people can just have it on the go?
Yeah, thank you for that. And that is why, the present management under the leadership of Professor Charles Anosike is, collaborating with so many NGOs, so many organizations, print and TV, media houses, to make sure that what we are doing is well known, nationally and even globally. We are engaging so many partners now to make sure that, including what they call them, MTN, Tomorrow, OI, and the rest of them. This is to make sure that we have a strong and well-established, transmission mechanism that will be able to disseminate our, forecast across all sectors of our economy and to the grassroots users, particularly farmers, particularly common man that need to know what the weather will be so that he can plan his movement, he can plan his activities. We are partnering with so many organizations to make sure that our products, our forecast, our bulletin are getting to nooks and crannies of this country. So we are doing that. Are you working with NOA? Yeah, we are working with almost, it's a federal organization. We are working with NOA, we are working with NEMA, we are working with, other sister agencies in the aviation. We are Ministry of Environment, Water Resources, NISA, quite a number of them. We are working with even some NGOs, like downscaling of our forecast. We partners with some states, some NGOs also, involved in this, to make sure that this forecast is downscaled to the grassroots, to the, common man, common farmers in the villages have access to, this forecast. So we're in the month of April, Mr. Wasiu. Before I let you go, what is the message really to Nigerians? Because this is the month people are actually, that's the scary part of what your prediction is saying because of the heat wave. So what's your message to Nigerians? Yeah, my message is simple. We need to be weather ready. We need to be climate smart. We need to always listen to, NIMET, what will be the forecast, what will be the weather, what will be the prediction, so that you can plan ahead, you can be well informed, you can take an appropriate action, your decision can be well informed. You won't just do anything based on just, you will be weather ready, you'll be climate smart. So it's important for people to visit our website, go to all our social media handles, be abreast with weather information, plan your day, and, you will enjoy it. And you should also consider breaking down those weather information in pidgin language so it gets to those Nigerians you're targeting. I just gave you a tip. Well, you remember I said so. That even okay. Seasonal climate no, I'm talking about the daily weather forecast. You can consider pidgin also. That's what I mean. Yeah. Okay. We'll try. We'll do that. Great. Mr. Ibrahim Wasiu is the Deputy General Manager, Public Weather Services, NIMET. Thank you very much for coming on Weekend File. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for staying tuned. And it's time for Sports Update. Ayo Deji is ready to give us all the details. Ayo?
Yeah, thanks so much, Ruth. Let's begin here from the Federal Capital Territory, and it was a bad day in the office for Nigerian teams on day 3 of the 2025 African Women's Volleyball Championship in Abuja, with the draw of hosts Nigeria Customs and Chief of Naval Staff Spikers ladies tasting defeat. After a comfortable win over Mayo of Cameroon in their first game, Nigeria Customs lost in straight sets to Carthage of Tunisia 25-18, 25-19 and 25-13. In the same vein, CNS ladies lost 3 straight sets to Zamalek of Egypt 25-14, 25-20 and 25-16. In other matches, there were wins for Kenya Prisons, Kenya Pipeline and Rwanda Police, with Mayo of Cameroon beating Rwanda's APR against all odds.
There's still a lot to play for in this tournament. So it means that the game is now opened. Tunisia, Carthage lost their first match, now they have won this. We won our first match, we lost this. So it means in a way that the game is open and it could still be any team's game. So I just, spoken with them just to reassure them that, there's still lots to play for in this tournament.
Let's go back to football because Samuel Agu netted in the 39th and 77th minutes for Heartland of Owerri as they secured a 2-0 victory over Kano Pillars at the Dan Anyam Stadium. Bendel Insurance and Enugu Rangers match ended goalless, just as the tension shifts to Sunday, where the Lobi Stars were not playing their home matches at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu take on Sunshine Stars of Akure. Niger Tornadoes welcome El Kanemi Warriors of Maiduguri. League leaders Remo Stars are in Port Harcourt to play second-placed Rivers United. Elsewhere, Shooting Stars of Ibadan welcome Ikorodu City to the Lekon Salami Sports Complex in Adamasingba. And in the English Premier League, matches that were decided on Saturday, Crystal Palace claimed the bragging rights thanks to a 2-1 victory over Brighton at the Selhurst Park, which produced 3 red cards. Wolverhampton Wanderers dealt a hammer blow to Ipswich Town's faint survival hope after Jørgen Strand Larsen netted his 4th goal in 3 matches to complete a second-half comeback, confirming their Premier League status for next season. Meanwhile, in the early kickoff, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta disagreed with the decision to award penalty to Everton for a foul as the side saw their Premier League title dream fade with a 1-1 draw at Goodison Park. Second place Arsenal are 11 points behind leaders Liverpool, who play Fulham at the Craven Cottage on Sunday. That's your sports. It's back to Ruth.
Thank you, Ayo. And Weekend 5 will not be complete without getting weather update for tomorrow. Let's see that.
Thank you for joining us. We're seeing favorable weather conditions for isolated thunderstorms by Sunday morning, particularly along the southeastern coast. This will include parts of Delta, Rivers, some parts of Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and the neighboring regions. For the inland cities, expect a mix of sunshine and cloud cover throughout the day, with the northern region experiencing mostly sunny skies. As we move into the afternoon and evening hours, more conditions are likely to develop, impacting areas along the coastal cities and extending into parts of Ondo, Edo Delta, Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo states, and also parts of Kwara and Kogi State in the north central region. Stay tuned for more updates, and that's it for now.
Now you know, do well to plan your day. And that's Weekend 5. Thank you for being a part of it. I'm Ruth Aguela. Bye.